This is install video on a Ford Ranger. We are fitting the HTX lights, HID LED hybrid lights. We're going to use the dual switching harness for this, so you have a switch to turn the HID and LED independently with the high beam. We're going to use the Ford Ranger fascia panel, so it gives you a mounting point for these switches, and these are the tools needed to install. Can use a light tester instead of a multimeter. To get the Ranger fascia panel in, we need to, using the instructions included with the Ranger fascia panel, remove the footwell trim to gain access to the center console. Popping the trim out, we'll need to take both the power supplies, the power supply plugs. They'll both need to come out to be fitted into the Lightforce Ranger fascia panel. Use caution removing the clips. They are the only thing that retains the power plugs, so you need to use caution, otherwise the power plugs won't locate inside the Lightforce fascia panel. You can see there the three, the unit will come with one switch supplied and it will have two blanks. We've removed all switches and we're going to use our dual switch in the Ranger fascia panel, so it only takes up one of the switch blanks for both the switches needed to run the HTX LED HID separate switching circuit. We're also using a pass-through connector available from Lightforce, and this is if you wanted to use a red arc brake controller, or the UHF will run your UHF as well. You can plug your handset straight into the front of the pass-through connector. And there's our dual switch for running the HTXs. Gaining access to start wiring the vehicle. We like to lay the harness out just so you can get all your lengths right, with pick up from battery and then through to where the wires will need to run to the front of the vehicle to power the lights. Checking the fuse is secured properly. You can see the two Deutsch 4-pin connectors there. That's what we use to power the two circuits, the HID and the LED circuits of the HTX driving lights. The switching circuit there, we'll run through how we'll wire those into our switch. We need to remove the radiator cowling trim to gain access in front of the radiator behind the grille. And lay the harness out. We will need to lay it out within the engine bay so we can see what lengths, where we can mount the relay holder, so we'll still have enough length to get to our lights. We found it easier to take the engine under tray off just to get access underneath the bull bar on this particular vehicle for wiring up the lights, plugging them in, and also for using our lock nuts, anti-theft lock nut kit on the lights. You can see nice easy access there. May need someone to help you with this to hold the lights secure while you tension them up. They need to be torqued up to 35 Newton meters. It prevents left to right and up and down vertical movement as well, using our anti-theft lock nut kit. Plenty of room in the Ranger grille. This particular Ranger's got a wide space grille, so plenty of room to run the wires back through, back inside the grille, and then to our harness. We are removing, we're using an earth point at the front of the vehicle here, and removing the back of the headlight to gain access to the headlight so we can pick up our high beam. We've used a connector there just to waterproof. We could also just go straight through the back of the headlight and make sure it is watertight afterwards. We've also used our patch harness that will give us our high beam pickup. On this Ranger, will give us a high beam source without having to tap into any high beam cutting to the wires. Feeding it through the connector we've used. If you didn't need to use the connector, we could just seal that up. Would need to be a watertight seal, so anything as the wires come through, we could then use silicone or something around the back of the headlight bracket to seal it up. We need to take the relays out of the relay holder. We've found a point just behind the passenger side headlight there. We've secured the relay holder in with a self-tapping screw, and then pop the relays back into the holder. The switching wires there, so that's our pickup for our high beam. So we can use a high beam pickup. Modification may be needed depending on which patch harness you're using, depending on the model of Ranger you have. And we've just crimped on a terminal there, so it just plugs in for our high beam pickup to trigger the switching circuit of the relays. Plenty of room in this Ranger because we've removed that radiator cowling trim in behind the left headlight there. Plenty of room to run through in behind the grille. We can run our power wires to run the left and the right HTX spotlights. Connecting to the individual lights. Left and right side. Deutsch 4-pin connectors there. Click in nice, make sure it's a nice solid connection and the retaining clip locates. And then we need to secure them in behind the grille there so they won't move around, chafe, rub or contact the hot radiator. And resecuring so we can gain access. We're going to use this as an earth point as well. So earth point there. And then make sure everything's secured back up. We need to run wires through into the cabin of the vehicle. So we tape the terminals together so they don't get damaged, pulling it through into the cab of the vehicle, and then back on the passenger side, the grommet there that runs through to the inside of the vehicle. We pierce the grommet and feed the wires through. We can use some dry lubricant or silicone spray on the wires that we've taped up to make it nice and easy access through to the inside of the cabin. And then once through, run it across the top of the transmission tunnel to where we are going to run the switch wiring out for our switch wires there connected as shown. The dash illumination pickup, we need to find a dash illumination pickup. We suggest running to the back of the headlight illumination switch, and that'll give us illumination for our dual switch that we're going to use to run the lights. So dash illumination will come from the back of the headlight switch. Resecure as removed. Use caution with the clips. The clips can be quite sensitive, so make sure they're located before pushing in and locking into place. If it has a negative switching high beam, we may need to use the difference in the connectors just to go to if it's a negative switched high beam in our patch harness, and then securing an earth and a positive point, we've gone direct to the battery. The fuse needs to be secured somewhere it's accessible at a later time if we ever blow a fuse, so we need to secure the fuse holder. Somewhere it'll be nice and accessible so we can just pop the top off that if we need to check the fuse. Once again, secure any loose cables so they don't chafe in fans or in any metallic sharp edges which will rub through our wiring. Replace the grille over the top of the radiator. Caution using those clips, they can become brittle with heat and age, so make sure they clip back in securely, and then of course our engine under tray. Testing lights work on both circuits, LED and HID.